I'm Subu, bringing crafting to you. I've been asked once again to film a project that I've made. So on my Facebook business page, you will see a box of little bits and bobs to make these tags that I've made. So somebody asked me, how did I make the box? So I'm going to show you. So if I just move all my tags out of the way, this is the box. The finished size, what have I done with my ruler? I've lost my ruler for the moment, so I'll just measure on here roughly. So the rough size of the box is about just under 5.5 inches, maybe 5 3/8 by roughly about 7 3/8, so something like that. So I'm not going to show you inside the box because I've put all my pieces ready to put in the sections. So I've got all my pieces ready. So for the base, you will need a piece of card that is 9 7/8 by 8 inches. You do need fairly good weight of card. I highly recommend Stampin' Up's weight of card because it's better quality card that makes good boxes. So I'm going to score this at on the 8-inch side, well, on all 4 sides, sorry, you will score it at 5/8, so that'd be there. And make sure you've got your scoring blade, and then 1 3/8. So I'm actually using the other side to do this on. 2 3/8. And then score. So you do that on all 4 sides. I've already completed this on here, so I'll just run through the measurements again. It was 9 7/8 by 8 inches, and I've scored on all 4 sides at 5/8 and 1 3/8. So I'm just going to burnish all of my sides. So I was going to store it so you can't see when I finish. You won't be able to see any of my measurements because they will all be covered up. Okay, so just going to burnish that. I always like to make thicker sides because it makes for a sturdy box. Once I make a box, it lasts, so I like to do that. Hi Jane, hi Julie. So thank you for joining me. So there we go. So score and burnish. So all I'm going to do, standard box making. The outer bit is going to double up to make the card even thicker and sturdier. So I go slightly in at an angle, but then on the bottom bit I go straight down just the side of the score line. So the score line is actually left on the tab. Then I will go down, same on the other side of the tab. I will cut off the top bit of the tab, and then I will just slightly wedge in, and these are your tabs when you're gluing your box. And then I just turn round and I will wedge in the top bit only. Don't cut down to cut off your tab, you'll need your tab. Okay, and so I'm going to do exactly the same on the opposite. So I'm going to wedge in slightly and then go straight down the score line and then go straight down for the other one. I'm going to then wedge in slightly. Don't go further down because you need your tab. So I'm going to cut off the top, and I'm going to just wedge in slightly. There we go. And then at the other side, so I'm cutting down so that you're cutting off the score line, but you're just absolutely flush up against that score line. I just forgot to wedge in the top there because I was telling you about the bottom. So look, you've got an angle on either side, so when that folds in, it takes the bulk away from either side. But this also helps with actually when you put it in to reinforce that tab and hold it more secure in place. So that really helps. So I'm going to go down this side and I'm going to cut off the top bit, so we don't need that, and then just slightly wedge in either side. Okay, and then I'll turn it round, and then I will just wedge the top bit only. Do not cut into your tab. Leave that. Then I will slightly wedge the top, then cut down the score, and then cut up the other score line, take off the top, and then I will wedge at either side. Okay, there we go. And the last little bit we will just wedge off there. So that is the bottom bit. And now what I find easiest thing to do is the red tape is a really good tape, very strong tape. So to save time, I just put a little bit of this right against the score line on the tabs. So I'm going to do this only on that bit there. So each of my tabs, I'm going to put it against that score line, and then on this one too, and it will just help with the gluing because it will just hold it in place, because this is, as I say, really strong tape. I've done a bit of a windmill effect here, but that doesn't matter as long as you've got a tab for every side, that's fine. So I was supposed to be doing the opposites, but it doesn't really matter as long as you've got a tab, it will work. And when the box is finished, you will not be able to see that. So that is on that side. The other side, which is going to be the folding up side, I am going to run a piece of tape all the way across the edge of the top tab, sorry. And this again will just help with the gluing. It just makes it so much easier. So it does it quick to fix it down and helps it. So as I say, the red tape is really strong tape. So this will not budge. You will rip your card. If you get this in the wrong place, you will rip your card because it is that strong. And I'm hoping I've got enough of this. Right. So it's better to just rub along with your bone folder because this just absolutely seals it down to your card. And then it's easy to pop off with your piercing tool. So I'm just going to take up all my 4 corners now. So there's 4 corners. There we go. And then what I do is I just put some glue now. So can't get this M1 off, come on. It gets static and you stick back to you. So all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue there in the corners. Then I'm just going to bend it, make sure it's a nice right angle corner, and just hold it, and that's it. Because it's got this other tape on, I can let go and it will have stuck. That just helps that little bit. So again, I'm just going to make sure I've got a nice right angle, that corner. Just hold with my fingers, move around, do that, get a nice right angle, just pick it together. Right, and the last one, there. That's a nice right angle, hold it together. Right, now all I need to do is to fetch the backing off my tape here, and I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down this edge and then just bend it over and then just rub my bung folder along the edge. That gives it a nice crisp edge at the top. That helps secure it. Now do another one. There we go. And off we go. Just run a bit of glue down there and then fold that over. And then again, just rub your bone folder down there. Let's get rid of that plastic, run it down. And then again, just run your bone folder down. And then your next bit. Okay. So just run it, some tape down, and sticks to it because there's a lot of static in the tape top. Okay, so there, just crease that nice and firm. So now you've got quite a solid base of your box there. And now for the lid. So let's just pop my pin in my glue. There we go. So the lid of my box is 9 3/8 by 7.5, and I've scored this at 1 1/16 and a half. And we're going to just do the same. We're just going to burnish them. We'll put that on the inside. There we go. Let's burnish, and we're just doing this exactly the same as we have done the base of the box. If you notice how I run my nails along the score line, that just helps it to start to bend so that you can get it on that score line. It just helps it bend easier, because this is really sturdy card. If it's flimsy card, you don't need to do that, but this is nice, good, solid card. Right, I've done that, and again, all I'm going to do is exactly the same. I'm going to wedge the side, then cut down the score line, and exactly the same. I'm just going to cut down the score line, cut off the top bit. We don't need that. And it's actually an orange piece of scrap card, Julie. It's I would probably say Grapefruit Grove might be the closest to this one, to be honest. My husband worked in the cardboard industry, and he's brought me a load of good quality card before he finished. And I must admit, when I'm just mocking up projects, I tend to use it because it is really strong, sturdy card. But Stampin' Up, I could have used any of my cards from Stampin' Up. It all depends what colours you want to use, really. I I just use what's to hand sometimes because this was only just making, because I decided, well, I'm going to make some tags, and I thought, oh, I'm going to cut a load of elements so that I've got a box that's suitable for tag making. So I've just, how I work things out is I just did all the elements, and I just did a box size, and I didn't set the things out. I just made the box base and worked out the size of the lid, and so that was my first thing that I did. And I roughly planned in my book how I wanted the internal space to be, and actually as I went along I changed it. What have I done? There's my tape. So I designed it around the elements that I'd actually cut off. So I don't have a set thing. I don't know whether you saw my Bailey's and chocolate boxes. That's exactly how I worked it out, and the card ones that I've made as well. That's precisely how I do it. I just get my materials, and then it's the height of the box I need. What do I want for this sides of the box, and I just go from there, and that's how I do it. So I work it out as I go along. I've just run out of my tape. I have got some thicker one, I think, so I'll just, I might have to do some tearing. I was just hoping that that one would last. This is a different one. It's a bigger one, this one, so that's fine. I just, I love making boxes, to be honest, Julie. I'm always making boxes. I don't know whether you've seen in the catalogues the It's Gorgeous Posy, the set's called, and before that they had the same box in the other catalogue, and this is the one that was the last in the last catalogue, and you get they're called project kits because you don't get absolutely everything. You had to buy the stamp set separate, and I've made all little boxes to fit inside here, so they go down a couple of levels, the boxes, and I've got all sorts in there. So that's a way of if I wanted to make up the ones as I'm going along. So that's just what I do. I just love making boxes. And that's why for Christmas you'll see that I made the ones to fit the crane and the mindful colouring for my great nephews. So I just do that, but I just thought Christmas tags, I just thought, well, you can make them for any tags really. I just cut out a load of elements that I've got. I particularly love the sprigs and the leaves, and again I was fortunate, I have got quite a lot of gold foil card, and so I cut out a load of elements in the gold foil card, and I've not really made a dent in what I've got in the gold foil because they are great big long sheets that I've got. So I'm just getting these off. So there we go. So again, just the same. I've done this as a windmill going around. I often do that when I'm doing boxes. As long as you've got a tab to stick, it doesn't really matter what way you do it. Again, make sure that you've got your right angle. Just pinch it into place. Move along to the next one. Just make sure that you've got that right angle. Pinch it in place. And, oops, I've actually stuck it on the tape, which it doesn't matter. It gives you a bit of wiggle room if you stick it on the tape. If you're bit frightened that you're going to stick it down and not absolutely get it right, you stick some glue on top of the tape, it will give you that wiggle room. It will also not stick down as well until it's set more, but this won't matter because as soon as I put the top tabs on, it will hold it in place. So do that. Yeah, I've got the stamp set. The stamp set, I don't know if you've looked at any of my other videos. I made some designer series paper with the posy set because it lends itself to so many things. It is an absolutely gorgeous set. And I'm quite looking forward to the paper pumpkin that we're going to be able to have. Is called Joy to the World if you're in England, because they have the paper pumpkins in America. They're able to subscribe to them, and you cannot get the stamp sets. My light's going. In anywhere, only the paper pumpkin sets. And the Joy to the World one's got a beautiful flower in it, and I've seen somebody use it making alternative ones, and they've gold embossed it, and it's really beautiful. So I'd really like that one, and that might be next year's Christmas cards, because I've made so many Christmas cards this year. If you note, I didn't even stick glue on, because you don't have to stick glue on. If you've got that tape on there, you don't need to stick glue on really, because it will just stick down with that firm tape. So that's my box lid. My box lid fits on. Yeah, there we go. So that's a nice solid box. And now for the inside. So this is going to be fun, because what I did previously is I put my elements in. So I had my tag, obviously when it wasn't made up, and I worked out where I needed to stick my first insert. So my first insert that I'm going to stick in is the largest one, yeah, which is 5 1/4 by 2 3/8. So all of them are 2 3/8, and we scored that. I not wrote where I scored it. I thought I had on something. Right, I'll have to refer back to my book. I scored it at 1/2 and 1 3/16. So I did 1/2, 1 3/16, then turned it 90 degrees and again scored at 1/2. So what we're going to do is fold it in half. Now give this a really, really good burnish. You want it to be crisp. And then we're going to fold so that it's folding into a valley fold. And we're going to really, really crease that. And then turn it over and really crease these folds. So you've got a piece that looks like that. Okay, so I didn't use any of my tape this time. All I did was just glue. I tend to use this, what's it called? Forget what it's called now, but it's a really good strong glue. My husband complains about the smell of it, but I decant it into a smaller box. So what I also did is just on the ends, I just wedged in to take a bit of the bulk out. So on every end I just wedged in a little bit, and that helps it to go in the box. Okay, now I'm just roughly going to place this in. I'm not going to fully place this in yet. I'm just going to roughly put it there. So until I've got everything else that I have put in place. So so I put my 5.5 one then. Then my next biggest one is 4.5 by 2 3/8. As I say, they're all 2 3/8 wide. And I'm going to do exactly the same with this. I'm just going to make sure that I've really burnished it well. Folding them back on each other. Folding them back on each other. And then I'm going to stick the glue in there to glue them together, and just really go over with your bone folder just to make sure that they're nice and stuck together. And then again I'm just going to wedge to take out some of the bulk. There we go. Just fold it back on itself like that, it's easy to do. And then that's the other one that goes beside the label. So I'm just going to place it there, not do anything for the moment. And then I'm going to stick the next, okay, is it, what have we got? So let's stick, there will be 3 that's the same height. That's not it. So that will be, is that the 3 1/16? No, is that the 3 1/16? Right, that's 3 1/16, that's correct. 3 1/16. Right, so I've got 2 3/8 by 3 1/16, 2 of those. So again, exactly the same thing with these. I'm going to burnish them. And then glue them. And burnish them. Spitting a bit of the glue out, so I just rub it round and round to get rid of that. Because I'm not tick marking there. And then just bend them out of the way. And again, just take that bulk off. There we go. And then that will fit in there. I think it's that one. And this one is the same. Okay, just going to glue down there. Give it a good burnish, and then cut out the wedges. And that will be that going in there. And then I have got one that is 2 3/8 by 3 inches. Again, just burnish these. That's the one, Julie. That's exactly what it is. And I don't just use the ordinary one. I use, don't ask me why, but I must have picked it up, and because I really like it, I've used it ever since. It's the one that's the polystyrene, because I just find it's a really good glue. It sticks. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. It also gives strength as well, so it's my trusted one. So that fits into the top bit here, and then the next one is 2 inches by 2 3/8. So I'm just going to burnish those. There we go. Just glue that in. And then we go over. Well, you got it exactly right. So not only is it predicted text, you're able to predict what glue I'm even using, Julie. I think that's absolutely brilliant. There we go. And that one fits in there. Okay, so that is basically the inside of the box, and all you do is glue those down. But because I've made the inserts to go inside them, I want to make sure it's exactly the same. So that's the internal layout. So I'm going to glue as I go along. Now this would be the DSP. I've just decided to make this in card because I lined my other one with card as well. I usually when I'm making boxes, I usually line with the DSP because it makes it pretty. But as I said, I was just doing this for fun, really, to just have all my bits and pieces in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that these are the correct sizes for my DSP. So I'm going to just take those out there, and I'm just going to pick up this piece. I'm just going to glue my base for that, and then I'm just going to actually I probably should have glued the bottom one, so I'll just roughly put that there, but I'm just going to take these out and just get this one in first, and so that will give me exactly where it's supposed to be. So this is a way of doing it to make sure that you've got it right. So I'm just going to slip that back in. I'm just going to wedge those in so that I know that they're pretty much the same length. That I know is about in the right place now. That's it. And so I'm just going to burnish these down now with my foam folder. So it's the DSP that I'm really working to. So as I say, this is 3 15/16 by 2 3/16. So all you got to do is put that loosely in there and then just put your edges there. I obviously, when I was making my other box, I just did the DSP and worked it out afterwards. But because I need it to be right, so this is a way of doing it to get it exactly right. So we're going to just burnish that down so it nicely sticks. Right, I'm going to get this next one, which is 2 3/16 by 3 inches. So I'm going to make sure that that fits down and this tucks in underneath it. It more or less is the same size as that, but not quite. So I'm just going to get that out, and I'm going to stick this down. So I know roughly it's about the same length as that one. And just make sure it folds up. Now, if you're not happy that your box, just keep testing your lid. So I'm just going to keep testing my lid's going on all right. Yeah, my lid's going on all right. If you're worried about it sticking out too much, just take your scissors and just take a little bit off the ends. And that will just make it fit that little bit better so your box can come in a bit more. So if you don't quite get your sizes right, you can always do a bit of fiddling about and it will work. So I'm going to just stick this in, and that will be the right size, and that's going to go finished on the top. Let's stick it down. Okay, and then the next one along is the 2 inches by 3. So again, I'm just going to get this and I'm going to stick my glue on the base. Going to roughly put it in position and stick my piece in there to help it to form, and just make sure that my 3 inches by 1 and 3/16 fits. Yep, perfect. So now I can glue this down. There we go, that can go down and be burnished. And then my end one will now just stick down, and that it says 3 inches by 1 and 13/16. And the reason why I end up with 13/16 etc, and I'm always ending up with 16s, is because I make things around things. Like if I've got scrap card, I'll use it up, and if I've got a funny measurement, I'll stick with it. So that's what I do. So that's the bottom part, and then we have the next one that's going to go on the side like that. I feel that's slightly tight again, so all I'm going to do is just take a little bit off that at the edge, and that's it. That fits perfectly now. And the one that fits in on the end is 1 7/8 by 2 and 15/16. So I'm just going to get that ready to glue, and I'm just going to put my glue on this one, pop it down roughly, put this one in and make it fit. I'm just going to see whether the last one, no, that goes the other way, so I'll fit that one in, and the last one to fit in goes this way. And so we want, let me just turn it round. So the end bit is going to be 1 1/16 by 1 15/16. So I'm going to, oh, I've not wedged that side, look. Oh, I have. I put it in wrong, didn't I then? That's it. Yep, that's it. So that's all ready. So I'm just going to glue this, slot it roughly in place, and then the 1 1/16 and 1 1/15 goes on the edge. So I'm just going to put that in place, tuck that underneath, and just make sure that the last one, which is 1 3/4 by 1 15/16, so just make sure that this now fits in place. Yep, there we go. So I'm just going to burnish that. and that all fits in place. So that's it, waste not, want not. You're absolutely right, Julie. So I then I'd already cut my tags, so this is how it all started. I worked out my tag size and then placed my tags, so it really worked around the size of the tag. That's how I did it. So my tag sizes are 4 inches by 2, and then you put them into the scalloped tag topper punch, and you just push them all the way in and then click it down, and that will then fit perfectly in the box. And what I did is I just ran them through a folder, embossing folder, that's right. I just ran them through an embossing folder that I happened to have got. I was too lazy to get out my big shot, and so I've got some very thin ones. I can't wait till the mini Stampin' Up one comes out. I'm so frustrated that it's not here after being promising it us from about June, because I've got the slim one embossing folders that will fit in there, and I would have used those, but I was too lazy, and because it was a lovely one that I'd not really used, and it's a very slimline one, I put it through twice, and this is what I've ended up with. So what I used for my tags, so if I just pop a tag in there, I did have, and I'm so disappointed it got rid of, my daughter-in-law was going to get that, was the Christmas punch set. But any set that you've got that will fit a tag, in fact, I really was going to start and use this one. This is brand new one, the little treat, and I did use this for the back because I think it's really pretty, this, and it's got so many wonderful elements, and you've got the dies that match this that cut out so many elements. This stamp, it doesn't cut these out, but it has some other individual ones, and it's going to be gorgeous. So I will be cutting, yes, it is a shame Hannah was going to get it. That's what I was saying, my daughter-in-law was going to get this set, and she's so upset because there's so many nice, and they're great for tags, but this these, what was it? I've not brought it out, have I? No, I haven't brought it out. That's it. The Sweet Times has got this lovely stamp, and that is the stamp out of that I've used. So it's all these that I've stamped, and you can get the die cuts to go with them, and so I use that one as well and cut that out in the white. But really, you could use this. You could cut it out in the white. You could cut it out in the red. Or you can stamp these. But I found that these two together are opposites. And that's what you want. You want your candy canes to cross. So that's why I did use those, because the die cut and the stamp just went beautifully together. Now you could cut two of these out, and you could actually well, mirror image. You can do mirror image of this one, because you could use a stamping apparatus to actually stamp down the ink on the rubber mat, and then put your card in between and stamp on top, and that will give you a mirror image. So you could do it, but I quite like these. You could have cut this out in red, so you could have these two, and you could cut them one out in red, real red, and the other one, and so you could have it the other way like that. So you can still do it, so it'd still be nice. But then I also have the sprigs and these beautiful gold leaves. I just love these, use these such a lot. Unfortunately, these are from the happy birthday, but if people bought from me, then I would send these out as gifts, to be honest, because we've just done a letter swap and I've sent a load of gold out to those. The Tasteful Touches has a die set that goes with it, and I've used this one to do these little tags because I just thought they're great for tags. Also this one here and this one as well, because I think this is just so pretty. So that's from that. But there are so many lovely ones that will fit. In fact, you could make tags out of this one, so you could just use that as a tag, cut those out and use, if you hadn't got anything to punch the tags out, you could use it with a hole puncher, so you could use those. So they're really, really nice. This one I'm going to play with in a little while, but I don't know whether you've seen another one of my favourites that I've been doing, and I would have done a lot of elements to put in here from that one as well. And it's why can you never find it? Yeah, I forgot to get it out. Post, isn't it? Something post. This one's a really excellent stamp set to have. There is so many elements. I don't know whether you've seen that I've made some games with this one, but you can make loads of tags with this, and you can even make, I'm going to show later on some birthday cards that I'm going to make with this. Because this one's the festive post, and then there's the post for you, and then of course there's the this one, this four fit together. So if you look on my site, you'll find that I've done a lot with this, and an absolute lot with this. So these, if you were beginning as somebody who's not really made any birthday cards, Christmas cards, etc., I would highly recommend these two stamp sets and this punch, because the amount of things that you could do with these these three things would be incredible, because you've got everything. You've got your happy birthday, you've got Valentine's, you've got lots of pictures to be able to use, sending love your way, just a note. And then you've got your Merry Christmas, enjoy the season. If you're a person that really likes Halloween, it's great for Halloween. I'm not a Halloween person, but there is so many different elements within this stamp set that I'm using, and that can be really used throughout the year, that I think this is one of my favourite stamp sets at the moment, because say I've done so much with it. And you haven't just got to think of this as that size. You can make it a square, you can make it a very small one, you could take it that way, you could do some fancy corners by just cutting into the corners. So no end of scope for that. So yeah, so it started off as an idea, as I say, my ribbon, I dyed the ribbon, I got very inky fingers. I'm surprised they've come clean now, but I'd got a load of ribbon and I just dyed it with the Colour Me Clover, and so and also sponge round the edge. So oh, you saw the game? Yeah, it's brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much for popping by and watching me today and listening to my rambles on. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll come again. Please do share my video, because there might be people out there who are new to crafting and would very much like to purchase some of the things that I show on my videos. I'd love people to shop with me. They will always get gifts from me if they shop with me, even if it's only a small amount. So please share my videos. Thank you very much for stopping by and chatting with me. Thank you. Bye.